Welcome everybody to the Love Happy Hour. It's been a million days, but here we are, back at it again.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. We're doing it. Trying to make the podcast work. Everyone wants to know what we gotta think and what we know.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is good. I had no, as always.
Yeah, it's just winging it, riff it.
I love it. I love it. It's what we do.
Yeah.
Over and over.
Especially we got to work out the wigglies too. It's been like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So we got to.
It has been. I know. Time. What happened to the weekly podcast?
Again, I feel like you got to like remember how to be a podcaster again, you know?
Yeah. Like everything we do. Every single thing we do, Mingo and I, you and I, humans, we're always winging it, aren't we? No matter what. I mean,
sort of, yeah. I feel like that's,
right?
Even when people think they know what's going on, I don't know if anybody really knows what's going on. We like to think we know.
Don't go so deep. I mean, we're here to go deep. We're here to learn.
Yeah, I'll ease them in. Sorry. That's like, just go straight to the depths of my being, you know, I don't know.
Slow with the tempo. Okay. Hi, welcome.
So welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
To the Love Happy Hour.
Right. Welcome to the Love Happy Hour with me, Kailen Rosenberg, my producer, Mingo.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, we have exciting things going on, which is part of the reason that you haven't seen us or heard of us or heard from us, not heard of us, heard from us in a while.
Yeah, who are we?
Oh, that's always the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no, it's been neat. It's been good. This is fun to have you back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah.
Get back in the flow.
Yes. Right. Yep. Yeah. We'll talk about it later, but we're going to have a different environment and surrounding coming up soon. We're very excited about that, which is a great time to actually ting.
Okay, let's do it.
Cheers.
Ting.
Cool. Okay. Here we go. Tequila. It's my new thing. Sorry. It's going to get a lot more creative soon, though, which has to do with our environment.
Ooh, there you go. I'm a whiskey per usual.
Yeah.
Although I've never, before the podcast, I never had whiskey, and then I had it the first time. I was like, wow, this is really good.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
I'm kind of hooked.
Are you? Okay. Well,
if I have a drink, then I sip a whiskey. It's really nice.
Okay. Nice. Okay. We'll just kind of keep it, kind of calm and kind of, I don't want to get a call from the wife, and I'll welcome a call from the wife and to walk her through or help.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, what have you been up to since we last connected?
Boy, I don't know. I mean, my kid's about to be 1, so I've got that going on, which is really exciting. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy the growth just in the first year.
Yep.
So I've got that going on. Transitioning to another day job, which has not been stressful, but it's just been different.
Okay.
I haven't quite started it yet, and it's always sad to leave a job because I make a lot of friends. So that's always kind of a moment. Even some of the jobs I really hated, I always remember feeling sad.
Okay. So you get attached.
Yeah, I get attached. I just, it's like a different, almost a part of me is like, oh, I should have soaked it up more, or am I going to miss, even though it's kind of funny, like you think about it, I'm like, oh, I'm going to miss hating this place.
Oh, wow. That's honest.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I come here all day and I'm just complaining. I'm like, wow, I'm really going to miss just the experience, it's not that it's good or bad. It's just like, oh, it's funny that I would miss a place that I don't want to be.
So you're really relishing in all things, realizing that there's an education in all of it.
Yeah, there's always something to take from it.
Right, there is.
Hate it,
good attitude.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah, and it doesn't always come out that way, but it's usually once I leave, I'm like, oh, you know what? This place was kind of a bummer, but I'm still going to miss it. The weird people that I meet, the nice people that I meet, the whole experience. It's like, oh, okay. And it's always a good, like you said, you always learn something.
Yeah.
So yeah. Got that going on.
Okay.
What else? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's
we'll see, right? Yeah, as we hear some new stories from the new experience.
Yep.
Okay.
What about
you? Okay, so our last podcast we were talking about We the People, right?
That was probably, I feel like it was like 3 weeks ago, maybe.
Was that right after the debate, the Kamala
yeah, I think so.
Trump debate?
Yep.
Okay. So I've been in Carmel. I was in Carmel by the Sea,
okay,
which is a crazy darling place.
Yeah. And where is that?
It is outside of Monterey,
Okay.
kind of by Big Sur, in between. It's
Okay.
absolutely stunning.
Yeah, yeah.
Stunning, 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 where you just sit there in awe of the beauty of nature. And, I mean, it's like no matter what else is going on in the world, you can sit in that for a moment and just truly connect with how beautiful our planet is. But, then you get torn by then the rest of the reality of the world and where it's at and how removed it is from that spot and space of beauty. And so it brought many things out of me. I was grateful to be there in the moment with some really lovely girlfriends. It was a girls' trip, part business trip as well. And to be able to relish in that, to kind of meditate in it, to have incredible gratitude for that opportunity, but then also thinking of what I can do to bring that experience in different ways to others or to everyone. And, just kind of thinking big pie in the sky stuff again with my business. And it's just like, I want to just bring as much money in as I can so that I can just use that to give back and to help and to heal. And that our world shouldn't be so segregated, period, but on behalf of, the experience of life. I think things should be far more balanced. And but anyways, that was absolutely stunning, beautiful, amazing. Have I traveled beyond Carmel? I don't even, honestly, so much has gone on.
Yeah, I know, I feel like we had that going on. And, I don't know. Because I know you... I feel like you had something else. Maybe some deals fell through.
It's been nonstop.
Yeah.
Well, it's so funny. Yeah, I had some really big opportunities come my way, and then they stopped, and they so-called fell through, and then they came back again. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Then they came back again.
Okay.
And then I'm like, well, I don't even know if I want to do these now.
Yeah. Kind of led me on the first time.
Right. So then it's kind of like, okay, Lord, I'm going to sit back. And what were you trying to show me? What do you want me to see? As I'm always saying to everyone, what is the teacher in everything, but yet also trusting that if you are asking to be guided and you're trusting in something above yourself, for me, God, and His will for me, and I'm saying, Lord, show me your will, pave your way, your path, my path for me, then I just have to trust whatever that is and know that it is amazing and it's heading in the direction that is the most ultimate and beautiful and incredible.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so they kind of went away, then they came back, and now it's just sort of refiguring them.
Okay.
And and deciding, what is the message? What is the teacher? What do I want to do with these? A couple of them I kind of have a clear idea.
Okay.
Not ready to talk about yet until we're actually sign deals and we're doing it. But really exciting and, not only fun for us, for you and me, but really fun for singles.
Sure, okay.
Some really neat new things that have never been done in our industry before.
Some post-COVID single stuff too. I feel like that whole domain has shifted so much since COVID. So we almost have to rebirth.
Oh, in so many ways. Especially because people, there's been so much press about people just getting beyond burnt out on apps now. And it's because of the way that what the apps are providing or not providing.
I just feel like it's so far from reality that
it is.
That people go down a rabbit hole and
people
then
are tired of it.
Yeah, it feels, it just, a feeling about it feels super detached from genuine connection, that it's just, I don't even think people notice it, but they feel it, but they don't know what that feeling is. And I feel like the feeling is the fact that it's just super fake. Even if you try and be really real on there,
it is.
It's still just a picture of a head.
It's just
and a
superficial
body,
all the way along.
and then just a bunch of words, and then you chat, which is still just a bunch of words.
Yeah.
You don't really get the real thing until you go
you're
meet
not with
somebody.
a human.
Correct.
Right? You're not like old school where you were out and about, you ran into each other, you felt each other's energy and chemistry and vibe, and you could flirt with each other, or kind of, talk to their friends.
I almost
and then
feel like you don't get that at all, the flirty stuff.
Man, nobody's doing it anymore.
No, you can't court anybody because it's,
we're going to change that.
Okay.
Right?
I think that's such a
that's what these are.
Much healthier way to do it. And it's more fun, too. You get the little, butterfly, giddy stuff when you, someone's cute and you can kind of flirt and they're flirting back like me.
Like for real.
Yeah, but online you don't feel any of that because you you see words and then you make your own version of what those words mean.
Yep.
And it could be the complete opposite.
And
of
you
what
don't
the
even
other
know if
person
the
says.
people are real.
Well, that too. It could be just a program. It could be just a bot.
Yeah.
It's
no,
weird.
And there's a lot of that, and people know that, and they're just tired and burnt out. So anyway,
it's good that people know, though. It's good that people are recognizing it.
True.
Because I
Amen
think
to
for a
that.
while, no, people were just getting fooled, and I think people have been duped enough. We're like,
I know. Yeah.
It's weird.
They want more. They want new and different. Yeah.
Which is also good. They want better for themselves.
Yep. So with that, new client. So very excited about that. We're going to go on a whole. I was going to say a rampage. That doesn't sound like a good word.
I love rampage.
Yeah, I love rampage. Totally find her guy.
You're in love, and you're in love.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
Yeah.
Actually, yes. Let's do that. That does remind me of something a gentleman I spoke to recently said I should do. Not quite like that, but so I'm getting ready to travel for her. I'm heading back to Aspen.
Okay.
Heading to Dallas for a big, fun private fundraising event.
Okay.
And then heading to Beverly Hills for a really fun event there.
All places which I've never been.
Yeah, and you may be joining at some point. Yeah. So that's fun. And then I have some new coaching clients. You know, it's my favorite. I love that.
It's probably just because you get to get close and personal and get to know people.
You can really help. You can really, 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 really deeply help in the areas and the ways in the space that people really need it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do it, the same stuff shows up over and over and over and over and over and over.
Especially if they really want to, people can say they want to have help, and you can. It just really depends on the person.
Yeah.
So if they really want help, and you can give them
Yeah.
the advice, and they take it. Ooh.
Right.
What a win.
Oh.
That's such a good, yes, you understand what I'm saying. You know, that's the best.
And you see their life move, and you see joy come into their eyes and into their energy and their smile and a peace and a comfort and a.
It's almost like you get to see a little bit of heaven when that happens. You know?
Oh, you really do.
Yeah.
That's beautifully said. Yeah, that's so true. Trying to think of anything else. I know my husband and I have been having a lot of fun together. We've been doing some fun date nights. We went to Electric Light Orchestra, Yellow.
Oh, okay.
Like from the 70s.
Yeah.
And like early 80s, Yellow. It was packed, and I have to say.
Where at?
It was at the Excel Energy Center in St. Paul.
Okay, sure.
The guy is 80 years old. He sounded amazing.
Which is kind of crazy to me because I don't know how your voice works at 80, but.
I know some just hold that and carry it.
Or maybe they just take good care of themselves because.
You feel like
you'd have
pretty
to.
Healthy and fit, but I was just. But one of the things that I noticed, and I'll notice it in pockets here and there, and we'll get more into this later. But as we talk about, this whole presidential thing and the most recent VP debate, holy crap. But here we were. It was absolutely sold out show. The entire arena was packed. There wasn't an empty seat. Which
is also very impressive because it's a pretty big place to fill.
Right?
It's not small.
And we were all, with our phones and the lights, and we were singing, and we were looking at one another,
so
right? We're singing, we're with one another and each other's energy.
Yep.
Everyone is each other's instant sister and brother. Yep. Regardless your age, your background, your affiliation with anything, nobody was saying, well, hold on a second. Again.
What do you believe?
Who are you voting for? I can't really connect with you right now until I know.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, we were just all so loving the music, loving on each other, just reminiscing, being nostalgic together.
Yeah.
It was literally like a piece of heaven. Where it was sort of like at the end we were like, oh, it's
we're
over.
Done. Yeah.
Dang.
We got to go back and be people again.
And we have to be a-holes again.
Yep.
I mean, no, we don't, but too many are. But that's all about stuff you've got trapped inside.
Yep.
It's not just strong conviction for your beliefs. But that was amazing and fun. And oh my gosh, so great.
I just think music is cool how it can do that.
It's beautiful.
And music always does it. It just, it's something about it being not physical. It's sort of ethereal a little bit to where it hits you a little deeper. And then especially when you're in a big room like that, like some of my favorite moments is when they get quiet and then people take out the phones and everybody sings and all you hear is just voices.
And we're all beautiful together, aren't we?
It's like there's energy with everyone's voice, and then when everyone does it together, you're like, whoa, this is like Satsang. You're like,
amen.
It's crazy. Like that will always give me chills whenever I'm in that situation because it's so powerful. I'm like, it's almost hard to sing sometimes because I'll just cry. I'm like, wow.
Oh, you're so moved.
Yeah, because I'm a choir kid too for a long time. So like that stuff to me is really powerful because I've done it in choir and something about everyone singing together is really sort of transcendent a little bit.
It
like
is.
It takes you out of your humanness and like you connect somewhere else. So
Amen
like
to that.
in a big space like that with like thousands of voices singing, it's strong.
I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
so
really
those are always
beautiful.
cool moments. Yep.
Yeah, so I want to part of the show, honestly, part of this podcast is to not only talk about the real subjects, but to get us all there. Because here's the thing, we're obviously already organically there because it happens in a split second, right? Just at the concert.
Yep.
If
That's
you need,
what's so crazy.
If you need something at the grocery store, if you are pumping gas and you drop something and the person comes over and says, hey, by the way, I just want to let you know you dropped that. We're willing to and wanting to be there for each other, help each other, be kind to one another. So we have to be really careful about not being so jaded and fooled by a higher narrative that neither you or I understand, that is not in our best interest. Because if it was in our best interest, regardless of what side it's coming from, and oftentimes both sides, and you know what I'm talking about as far as sides, left side, right side, if it was really in our best interest, each side would be behaving much more adult-like, thoughtfully, kind, and not just talking about how they want to lessen the divide and they want us to come together, but they would be, emulating it. Amen. There we go.
Yep.
So it's like, you know what? We got it. We got each other, right? We got each other. It's all good. Let's go be love.
Yep.
Our world would be a better place because of it, and it's quite easy. It's really up to us. We actually are far more powerful as people than you have any idea.
And I think
which is what they fear, I think.
Who? Like the powers that be?
The powers that be on the planet.
Well, of course, because then if people realize that they can just be kind to another and sort of have support at a local level or to like on that level, then I think if people will wake up if that happens.
Oh,
and
amen.
If people wake
they
up,
feel it.
Well, yeah, if people wake up, then they can't control. They can't. There's no propaganda that can sway an aware mind.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, because they're like, they'll consider it and they'll get rid of it if it's kind of BS.
We'll do our own fact checking, right? Like fact check, meaning fact check on a deeper level, a different level, not just the level of on the level of your side. Like really check it all out. Don't be afraid. It's really cool. Seek to understand where the other people are coming from and why, and see where you can meet in the middle, because I promise you, we honestly always can. And you could be saying, oh my Lord, she's totally delusional. I'm not.
I've seen that level of fact check is hard too, because I think a lot of the people, especially when it comes to like the president stuff, you'll only ever experience them on TV, which you're already one step removed from that whole experience. And then the next one would be like through words on a page, whether it's social media or someone texting you stuff or in a paper or however you get your information. You know, your truest experience, or like, you know, to be able to fact check on like how it feels. You know, people can say a bunch of words, but if you feel that they're weird, you're like, oh, something's not right.
Yeah, right.
You know, so
and we know, right?
That's enough of a fact check, but sometimes you have to be in the presence of that person to really know that.
Right.
So that's what's tricky with the politics, is most of those people you're never going to see in person ever, unless you go way out of your way to go find them and go to a rally or something, you know, like, I don't know, and then you're relying on other people's opinions of what they experienced, and then you're like, well, how do I...
Yeah, that's
Sometimes
true for
tricky.
the majority of us.
It's tricky.
Yeah, almost all of us. Yeah, you know, that's one thing that's kind of interesting about being in my position with the clients that I have, and you know, being connected on different levels in the whole political.
You get to like meet people,
yeah, and celebrity, and I do know many of them, have met them, have been introduced to them, have been invited to their homes or to private events.
And that's where you get to really see the person.
And you do, and you hear different things, and then it's like, how do you respectfully carry that and not create drama out of it and not exploit it, and something I've had to do for a very long time. And I do that. I hold that with honor and with respect, but it does give me a little different insight into my experience of things, that's for sure. On both sides, once again, both sides. Yeah.
I think both sides are good and both sides are bad. Like,
yeah, you're right.
And I mean that
there's
like,
a little both on both
like
sides.
a respectful
100%.
manner. Like it's like I like listening to all these. You know, like I feel like this year I've been more involved in politics than I usually am, and I got to a point to where I'm like,
we're feeling it.
Yeah, and it feels more serious, feels more like real right now, and it's like, whoa, there's like the world's getting really exotic in the way like stuff's happening. So you know, but like paying attention to it, like I got to a point where I'm like, you know, I really feel this one side, and then I feel the other side, and then I get to a point where I'm like, they're both just superstar actors and they're just giving me the cheese. I'm like, I don't know how to decipher what is really relevant to like. It's just, I don't know. Both sides, it's doomsday, and you better vote for me because look out for them. And that's what both sides say. And they say it, although I will say.
They both say it, yeah.
I will say the president.
Not comforting. We've talked about this so many times.
Yeah. And
we're stuck in the frickin' middle. We really all are.
Yep.
We're stuck in the middle no matter what.
Yep. And it's just tricky to know like I feel like we're not given enough good information to really make a good decision. An informed decision.
I think that we are all a lot smarter than they give us credit for. I think we're smarter than we give ourselves credit for, all of us as a collective. Okay. And I think that we do know what decision to make and what we want. The problem is that the candidates that we have right now, I don't think really any of us, if we're being really honest, would personally, if we had access to the best of the best from everyone,
we wouldn't choose them.
I don't think either of us would choose.
I think I'd look for someone. Yeah,
nothing personal, just not the best.
They're both extreme. Like
yeah, and in a ew way.
Yeah, it's just like
man, oh man. I know. So it's interesting. How I get things downloaded through me, and I, the term that people use is channel. I channel things and channel. And I had a few days where I was
just
really
by choice or just come about.
It just comes about.
Okay, so it just hits you.
I don't like to go seek it and wait for it. I don't
Some
like
people
that.
Do.
I know. To me, that exploits it.
Okay, sure.
I want it to just be
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
natural.
I can respect that. Yeah.
And feel where it's coming from too.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
Light or dark, good or bad. But I was really kind of starting to get into a funk with everything going on.
Yeah.
And also because, as I was saying earlier, because I have been in the whole celebrity world and I've been behind the scenes and am behind the scenes in Hollywood, and I've had, as a coach and a healer in many lives of people that you've heard of and and you've seen on TV and see in the movies. And, I know them as family and friends and clients. But, I've been hearing things for years that they would share with me in care and in secrecy to just kind of unload, and to now have things coming out 10 plus years later.
Oh, like in reference to what you have heard that long ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Started to really mess with my head. I'm like, crap, they were telling the truth.
That's also kind of crazy too. Like, there's no way.
This stuff is really real. And it's not that I doubted them. They're things you wouldn't want to think are real. They break your heart. And it's not to be naive, but even for me, even though I work as a healer in people's lives and I do a lot and I know a lot to help people, I'm still very human, and I still have a soul and a sensitive spirit, and I still feel things and pick up on things and carry things, And so I literally was laying in bed a while ago, or I don't know, and just saying, shit, like shit. And in a lot of prayer. And then the other day I woke up, thank God, in the morning, and I just heard God saying, or the Spirit, it felt like it was from God or really near God, kind of in that heavenly realm. I know it may sound heavy or freaky to you guys, or you might think it's cool. I think it's cool. And it used the term, we were saying earlier, but it used the term mirage. Kailen, it's all a mirage. Don't worry, it's all a mirage. And I'm like, okay, wait, what are you saying? What is that? That could have many meanings. Yeah. What are you saying? It's a mirage. It's not a mirage. It's happening. It's real. It's clearly real. A lot of it is real. But then what I heard was, there's something even higher going on. Don't worry. Like, it's the mirage of don't let it pull you in and suck you in, and don't let anything that is going on around you confuse you and scare you to the point. I'm saying this to all of you. Nothing that's going on in the world around you that feels so unstable, which it is, and frightening in so many ways, don't let that take and steal all of your peace, because there's something beautiful behind the curtain coming. And that's what I heard on the highest level. Like, don't, Kailen, don't let it suck you down any deeper. Like,
don't let it disguise the miracle that's...
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
I swear stuff channels through you. It's so cool.
Yeah.
So, because you have profound things that just like flow through you.
No, it comes up, it shows up, and I'll just say stuff.
It's beautiful. But so that was neat. And so now as I kind of get recentered and regrounded and back to my work and what I do, and to our podcast, how do we bring it all? Yeah. To you.
Well, so, I mean, in that regard too, I know we just had the vice president debate, which I was actually surprised that they were pretty cordial.
I loved it.
I was like, that's how it should always be.
Amen to that,
Like,
right?
they disagreed,
Right.
but they weren't like, they weren't being an asshole to each other.
Yeah.
They called them out on stuff, but they
Yeah.
did it in a respectful manner.
Yes.
At no
How
point
to
where
have
they
a
were.
relationship and disagree.
Yeah, no, it's honestly like
Yeah.
it was very respectable, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, let's vote, let's have the vice presidents be presidents.
Amen.
Because man, the presidential debate was just two kids bickering. It was like,
Yeah.
it was the silliest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, they were
It
really
was a
far more
complete
adult.
180. It was really wild. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, no,
to
I
be
agree. I
honest.
think Vance and Walz did a great job.
Yeah.
Did either of them do a perfect job? No. But did they do a far better job than our presidential candidates? Yes, absolutely. And they were an example. And I talked to so many people that felt the same way and felt that they brought like a nostalgic calm, because this is how it used to be when we had two people running for president. You know, sort of like, okay, hey, I like both of them. I want one more than the other, but I really like both, so I'm fine regardless of who ends up winning. Like,
Yeah.
we're in a good place. People don't feel that at all right now. So I like knowing that there is, again, it's just kind of, and I just heard it now, like, just like, don't watch the happening right now in front of you. Know that there's something bigger, cooler, and more control and a healthier, more beautiful way for all of us
Yeah.
behind all of this. It will come full circle. We just need to know that. Let's just stay in there and hang in there and
Yeah.
focus on being love and healing what we can within ourselves and our own lives, and really being mindful around, you know, of those who we surround ourselves with, and what thoughts we allow in our head and things like that.
I mean, it's
But I liked it,
yeah, no, I liked it too, and
just for the experience of it.
I was just surprised.
Yeah.
And like what you're talking about, how you know, to not get caught up into like the Mirage, like the, you know, I think that's what got
Yeah.
me turned off, because I was really paying attention to, really trying to get into it, like, let's figure it out. And I got to some point where I was like, this is just a big act. Like, they go up there and they say all their shenanigans, and then you know, like if I'm scrolling through Facebook or whatever,
Yeah.
then you have all the other people that are supporting whichever side,
Yep.
and then they all do the same thing. They all do
Yep.
the big act
Yep.
and the big drama, and it's
Yep.
like, it's almost to the point where it's kind of silly. It's like, maybe I should, like, I don't even need to watch any of this, because it's all just a bunch of really flamboyant opinions just being splashed
Yeah.
around, and like, you know, but to your point of like, it's just a mirage. Maybe we just need to mellow out a little bit and just stay a little more
Yes.
neutral within
Yes.
ourselves, and just make,
Stay in the calm where the water is warm.
yeah, but it's so,
Like,
it's
truly
it's so
warm.
tricky though, because I feel like the way the world is in terms of technology and how quickly things are moving, I think all that has a lot of people just caught up, and they don't even realize it,
Yeah.
because it's all so quick.
Well, that's why, again, there's a big puppeteer, and it's, you know, to me, it's ultimately, I don't want to say God's not a puppeteer, but there's a, you know, but on a worldly level, there's another puppeteer, and it's really
Yeah.
not looking out for our best interest at all. It's about power and gain, and it's really trying to manipulate and control us, and it's doing an excellent job. But again, people, we're stronger and we're smarter,
Well,
and
I
we're
think
better than that.
God is too. And so when you talk about, you know, God not being a puppeteer, I think God is. So in that sense of God being, it will always be that. So even if you push really far away, it always goes back. So in that sense, God's not puppeteering or controlling anything. He's just
Yeah.
what is. So if it tries to puppeteer
Yeah.
and pull away from God, it'll
Yeah.
always go back to God, because that's what is.
Okay, once again, that's so freaking heavy and deep.
If that
Because
made
I was
sense.
thinking, no, you're wrong the entire time. I just spiritually was hearing this
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
of he's not, he's off. And then when you said that, it was like, he's right. Well, it was profound. Okay, that was really deep. Because my whole time when he was speaking, I'm thinking, okay, no, the free will. God is not our puppeteer. We have,
Yeah. Well, he does,
we-
but
and
you can run away, but you got to go back to what you are. You
Well,
can't, you know.
Oh, you're getting at we have to tweak how you're communicating
Yeah,
it, but
yeah.
you got it. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I feel like we should just like get out a doobie or something and
Yeah,
turn
right.
down the lights.
Yeah.
Sorry. Flower child coming out in me.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So, and not that I'm promoting alcohol and drugs, but
But, you know,
but
ting.
now, well, we can see why some people went there for a little while. Let's
Yep.
get a little break. Gotta be super careful. I deal in addictions. I know, super not helpful when I help
Yeah.
people battling addiction. Just keeping it real. So, what else was I going to say about that? Oh, playing a game, though, I think they are. They're both playing a game. And one of the things that I could read when I was watching each of them, their eyes, their energy, they were not believing 100% of what they were saying themselves. They are just doing their job, each of them.
Well, yeah.
And I also felt a really pure soul in each of them. I don't think either of them should be as hated as they are. Again, look at the bigger picture and pay attention to what might be behind the curtain on both sides.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, to me, again, and to many people, the way that they showed up said so much more about them and who they really are, aside from all of this stuff. And it doesn't mean you have to agree with who they are, but they're better people than I think we've given them credit for.
See, and I think the one thing that I think puts me off about the politics in that whole realm is I think everyone who's in politics has to be that way. They have to not really say what they want to say and be honest all the time. They have to.
I know.
Just like if you're a manager running a place, you have to sell the coverage, sell the credit cards. Even if you don't think it's honest, that's your job. So you just say it and tell everyone to do it.
I know. I
so
won't
like
do that.
it's just kind of a fakey, like I get it, but that's why I could never survive in politics because I'd be too honest and they'd be like, you can't say that. I'm like, what do you mean? That's the deal. Like what? I'm not going to pretend.
Amen to that.
But they have to, and it's just kind of a weird middle fakey zone that I'm kind of just like,
can't do it. That's why we're doing our podcast together.
Yeah.
That's right. We can't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Don't sell your soul, people.
So it makes me wonder, can politics ever be like that, or is that just sort of a part of the quality of that realm? Like, same thing with lawyers too. You're kind of in that same realm, where you have to learn. If you're defending someone, you have to say whatever you need to do, even if you know for sure that person is guilty.
I know, because you're getting paid. It's gross. So you're getting some benefit of power somewhere from it.
It's just
you
weird,
know what it is? It's just attached to the unhealthy, wounded ego.
Yeah.
To different degrees. That's what it is. Yeah. All right, let's move on from this.
Okay. Well, hey, we can talk about some more sad stuff. Let's talk about the weather.
Let's talk. Oh, more sad stuff.
I mean, it's
Mingo. Man, no kidding. Okay,
I was actually going to go to Florida. My dad has a rental on Anna Maria Island, but it's all messed up. We were actually supposed to go.
Oh, you're kidding.
Next month, but I think we're going to cancel it and redo it because they might even get more. It sounds like they're going to get more.
So it was Category 3, the new one. Is it Milton? It was a 3 yesterday, a 4 this afternoon, and now I just saw something on social saying it's already moving into a Category 5.
That's so crazy.
To hit, literally, it's just going to sweep across Florida, and then we have the people in the Carolinas and primarily North Carolina, and all I can say is, and it's not to take it lightly and just say talking about the weather, but this is again a time when I think just collectively, regardless of what we believe in or what side we're on, prayer, energy, whatever you believe in that can help on any level, whether showing up or energy or again prayer. I've been in a lot of prayer for everyone there and for all of us as we kind of sit back and see this and recognize that those are all our brothers and sisters as well. They're humans. It could be us. It's always so easy for us when it's not happening to us and it's happening to someone else. But they are us. We are them, and we can't forget that. So my heart is just really in pain and deep compassion and humility over all of that right now, and I'm just sending a lot of love. Yeah,
it's just crazy that it was the first one was already as bad as it was, but they've got more coming.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
I know. So we're just going to be in prayer, in prayer, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And okay. Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm so happy, love happy hour.
Happy stuff. Yeah, love happy hour. Yeah. So I know you've got some other stuff going on other than, what we've already talked about. It sounded like you had some new client stuff or like some other. I guess what can you talk about?
I know it's all super private right now and secretive.
You said something about a new elite client.
Yeah.
There was something in London.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
So there's that. Yeah, I know that. It's so surreal to be laying in bed, watching YouTube, seeing shit go down and stuff coming out, and the muck rising to the surface so that things can be cleaned up. To have known about a lot of it or heard about a lot of it for a long time and to realize, well, again, I'm not meaning to repeat myself, but... And then all of a sudden get a really fun text with a photo from some people, an A-list actor, on a date, having a blast, falling in love. It's just very surreal. And these are really good people, like really good people. It's not about the fact that they're, actors and well-known or anything, but it's just, I lead an interesting life. And then I get up and I clean my house and I do my weeding.
Do some normal people stuff?
I do my way normal people stuff. And then I have my big channeling moment in my garden where, and you've heard me talk about this before, I posted on a little bit, where I'm not just, down there pulling weeds. All of a sudden it's like what the weeds represent. And now my garden isn't just my flowers and the weeds I'm seeing and all the prickly crap. It's like, oh my Lord, I'm in humanity. And look at these beautiful beings and look at the stuff that's suffocating them if it's not removed. And look at how these plants over here are actually thriving and flourishing because the soil that they're in has had more attention. It's had more water and nurturing. It's had more vitamins and those little pellets. It's, it's had more attention. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, that's us. That's us as individuals. That's us with one another in community. We are these plants. I know this. I swear I've not been smoking anything. But it's like everything, what I'm always saying, everything around us, everything that happens to us, everything that we see, if we pay close enough attention, is a teacher, with a message. And so it's like, okay, that garden, that little plot of plants and flowers is a representation of our planet and us. It's just that darn simple, and yet we make it so difficult.
I think we do because we like story. We like stories.
Well...
I think we complicate it because it's fun, even when we hate it.
No, I wouldn't. Well, okay, I wouldn't agree with the fun part.
Well, I mean, on some level, like if I think of people,
I don't think it's that.
But people like it somewhere.
No.
People. Okay, well then they think they like the drama.
No.
What is it?
It's not like they're attached to it. They're addicted to it. It becomes a comfort zone for them. So maybe that's what we could say they like it without knowing they like it.
Yeah.
I mean, some
like
people
an addict too. I mean, an addict
way,
loves to take their drugs, but they hate it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So what it is everything we're doing that is negative and going against ourselves and keeping us stuck in any place that is removed from love or anything higher or our best ability or opportunity or behavior is just, again, it's a constant cry, internal spiritual cry for help to improve and to heal it and to rid ourselves of it so that we can really have this precious, beautiful, amazing life that's waiting. Because it's always, always, always waiting just on the other side.
I do think, too, that it's interesting, in that respect, that I feel like in our minds and in, like, human experience, we think it takes time to get there. But in reality, that it is there. So
amen.
There is no time required. You can just flip.
You can.
And suddenly like, wow, this is great.
So this is, again, going back to the Mirage.
Yeah.
What's a mirage and what's real? What are we buying into that's actually not even true?
Yeah.
Not only within ourselves with what we see, but with the powers
mental,
that be.
Like,
man, that's heavy. Yeah.
And it's really kind of wild how like that mental visual or like your mind's eye can really kind of make it whatever it wants. So if you're really feeling in some stuff and it's a bunch of BS, like it'll really sell it to you because that's what you want. Until you wake up and like, oh, I don't want that, or you recognize it.
Oh, with the things we really do want.
Yep, and then
that we believe that our ego wants.
The BS collapses,
and
you're
illusion.
Like, it's so crazy how it's like a slight shift, and suddenly you can snap out of your depression, or you can snap out of your like, your whatever weird emotions you're feeling. Like it's almost like you're clinging to one idea of like, woe is me, or maybe a handful.
Yes.
But those few ideas grow into these really vicious, if you're talking about weeds and plants, like sharp, stabby, mean things that just makes the whole world terrible, and they all hurt.
Yep, right. And so therefore that's the entire world. And that's
it's so crazy that it messes with your vision to a point to where you see not something that isn't there.
Well said.
It's so crazy.
Or we create it.
Yeah.
And then we believe it's there, and we don't even realize we actually.
Which is kind of cool because that means we're creating. We are creators. on
We're
some
massive
level.
creators.
Yeah.
That's, so the whole thing of power of energy and the power of thought and the power of word. I mean, it's serious stuff.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, well, I know one of the things, so I don't forget,
Yep.
forgot to tell you. I know our last podcast, I think we had somebody who wrote, they wrote in and they gave us 3 questions and we weren't able to get to the last one.
yeah,
I
there
know they
was
did reach out and say that they were hoping when we did our
For the
next
last
podcast.
one, yeah, I think I still have it somewhere.
Okay,
so.
we'll have to see if we can find that.
Yep.
Because I don't know I haven't even looked to see if we've had any news. Sorry, you guys. Oh my gosh, we've been in so many different places.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. By the way, I'm going to let you know now. Mingo and I are, we've been invited to bring our podcast live in person weekly, starting in Minneapolis and Minnesota, and then taking it across the country. And so that's going to be a lot of fun.
That'd be really fun. Actually, to do
On Andy
a
Cohen
little,
style, like we used to. Years ago I did it, and it was always a packed house. It was so much fun. It's a great date night.
I feel like you get such a different dynamic too. Because if it's just us, we're kind of in this little tiny compressed pot of just our own stuff.
Just a little compressed piece here.
Yep. But if you got everyone else, even if people don't say anything, their energy and their paying attention contributes.
yeah.
So
It's fun.
that'll be interesting to see what comes out of the ether.
Well, they're
with
fun.
different people sitting around.
Yeah, they're fun because so we have singles there, and they're kind of checking each other out, looking to see who's single. We have married couples that are, there that are treating it as their date night and just kind of a way to get out and have fun and then learn, different from sitting in, a therapist's office, getting marriage counseling. And then we have some really, fun things go down with regard to networking and people are connecting and getting together for business afterwards and they're just meeting new friends. So it's cool. It's a lot of fun.
I think it'd be kind of
Growth
cool
and
too, if
entertainment.
it, because I know it's, kind of built around singles and then couples, but it would be kind of cool even if you had you could treat it like a satsang where people can kind of come in and, in spiritual company and sort of discuss life, discuss.
Oh, totally. We do.
And we do anyways.
Yeah,
but
they're live. It's live Q&A.
So that.
It will interrupt us a little bit, but it's really fun. Yeah.
No, which I think will be super cool because you don't really know what kind of questions you're going to get.
Oh,
so
I
it's
know. I love
we
it.
get to, and stuff like that for me is cool because then you get real reactions, real interactions instead of scripted stuff. You get the kind of just off the cuff.
Yes.
Ooh, hit me with it. What do you got?
Yeah, and you get the challenges, and it's that's okay. We're willing to go there with you.
Yep.
It's all good. Yeah,
It's
we
fun.
care.
Yep.
We care to know, to hear, to learn, and to
Yep.
respond respectfully, and to also teach you how to do the same. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And two, I feel like I'd learn, just what people go through, because everyone's got such a different story.
Man,
everyone,
I know.
the journeys that people go through, some are wow. It's wow.
I know.
How do you do it?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Very true. Very true. And yet we all end up in the same spot.
That's what I'm saying. Because we
all end up in the
I really
same
just think we're all God,
spot.
on some level. So
We're definitely part of it.
yeah. So we all end up in the same spot, even if we take our own little paths, which is also maybe that's what people are forgetting is that we all end up in the same spot. So going back to the vice president thing, even at the end, they shook hands, the wives came over, they shook hands. And I was like, that looked like they were at a dinner. They just got
Civil.
done talking about some hardcore stuff.
Respectful.
And they're like, hey, great. Thanks for coming
Amen.
out. That's how it should always be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we are America and we're going to uphold the highest standard of country existence,
Yes,
that's how we should
Come on,
be.
people.
And especially now too, when anyone in the world can look at us via the internet, we should be the example. We should be being what we want everyone to be instead of telling them to do it and then not do it ourselves. That's the biggest cliche.
Yeah. And what we left and why
come
we
on.
left something to create better. We kind of forgot what we were doing and why we started this in the first place. Yeah.
Well, people get caught up in, their opinions and their powers. And two, I think there's an element of being...
Our power is really kind of BS, you guys. There's no, okay, well, hold on. I don't mean to interrupt you. Here earlier, I'm going, we're really powerful. We're really powerful. And I'm like, our power is BS. Our ego power is BS.
Yep.
Our collective power is beautiful and amazing, especially if focused on the right thing, right? And the right outcome.
Ego power collapses on its own
Yes.
BS.
It does eventually.
Eventually,
Woohoo!
it'll go on a run for a while, and it'll flail around,
Yep.
and then eventually it just.
Love.
And I almost feel like
It's like
that's
the tortoise and the hare.
yeah, for real.
Just
a big ego, it's fine, I'll be fine, I'll just keep doing it, and then
Yeah, it comes to surface.
because you just don't see what you're not seeing, and it crushes you.
Oh, amen to that. That's so good. That's so good. Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh. There's so many things I want to share, but I can't yet. Okay, cool. So cool. So cool. Because it has everything to do with what you just said.
Yep.
All right. So let's see if we can find that. Go ahead.
One other thing I know you wanted was the single concept in the golf world. Is that part of the, because I know we're talking about a new space, and I guess I was curious what you had to say about that, because you mentioned something about that.
Let's wait.
Okay, we'll wait. Okay.
We'll tease it out right now.
Okay, sure.
We'll just, if you're interested, if you're curious, if you're single, well, no, two things. Okay. Well, you're either single or you're not. But if you're single and you're looking for love and you're looking for a really wonderful, amazing person, we're going to be holding some amazing boot camps and live events with a new partnership that we have. And so write into Mingo, which is producer at
Kailen Rosenberg. Yep.
Right? KailenRosenberg.com. So producer at KailenRosenberg.com. If you're interested in our singles events or private events, write in and let us know. We'll let you know where they are and what we're going to be doing. If you are married or you are in a committed relationship and you're really struggling, we're going to be holding private events for you as well that are going to be fun, uplifting, and actually healing and helpful to getting you out of your way and unstuck in a way that so far I haven't found anyone else doing. I mean, I know there are a lot of people and experts out there having seminars and retreats and weekend things, but this will be different. This will be different.
Which is cool, yeah, because I think a lot of seminars are like, your typical hoorah, let's get motivated, which those are great too.
For a little while,
yeah,
and you go home, and then you go back to normal.
They put a little fuel in your tank, and then the tank runs out, and you're like, all right, well, it's back to the same old.
Yeah, it's like a sugar. It's
high.
like a sugar high. Yeah, and then you crash. So, yeah, we want to change that.
Yep.
That's what we do. Okay, but I think we should see if we can find that because I know they did.
Let's see. I think this is the one here.
Bum, 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 bum,
yeah.
Bum, bum.
All right, I think this is it. All right, let's see. It says, oops, what's going on here? Okay. A lot of time and thought is put into romantic relationships, but I need help with a friendship. Ooh, so this is a friendship. Okay.
Oh, okay.
This is cool.
Yeah, no kidding.
I have a close friend who makes snarky comments and digs, and it's really bothering me. Should I issue her an ultimatum to end our friendship if the behavior does not stop? And there's a bunch of laughy faces at the end.
Well, you have a bunch going on there. So first of all, when you say a close friendship, that's not a close friendship. A close friend, a good friend, someone who you allow to be close to you in your life should not be doing that to you, right? So you have to look at your own boundaries there and what inside of you and why. Same thing. Are you considering this or calling this person a good friend or a close friend? But then secondly, you could say, well, this is a really good or close friend. They've been in my life since childhood. They're a really lovely person. They never used to do this. This is something new. It's just becoming a pattern. It's becoming a nuisance or really hurtful. I care about them. Well, then what you do, obviously, and you should have done a while ago, but you can do it now since you're asking, is to just get a time when the two of you are together. Don't do this over text. Don't do this over the phone. Get them together. And let them know that you have something on your heart that you want to talk to them about that's kind of serious, and also see how they receive that and if they're open to it. And then when you're together with them, just sit down with them and just say, hey, I just want to be honest. I feel like I've noticed that there's been a pattern of you kind of getting jabs at me and making snarky remarks, and I really love you and I care about you. I'm not sure why you're doing that, where that's coming from or what that's about, but it is hurtful to me. It's hurtful to our friendship. I don't want our friendship to be a place of pain. And so I just wanted to share that experience with you. Can you tell me what that is? And leave space for curiosity and grace to really hear them out. Pay attention to the fact that they may have something really legitimate to share with you that might be an eye-opener and a teacher for you. Maybe perhaps you've been a little pokey and crappy and you weren't aware of it, or you did something that hurt them, and so they started to possibly go a little passive-aggressive or sideways and not quite know how to confront it with you. You might be in a similar aha moment with each other where there can be really beautiful healing. And maybe not. And if that's the case, after you try to reach back out to us, to Mingo, and let us know, and we'll continue to help you through it. In fact, one of the things that I want to do is I want to start bringing people in. We used to do this years ago and work with them live, right? So work with them on the spot and help them work through these things and heal them. Because most all things can be healed pretty quickly, believe it or not, when you get to the true root of it with love. Genuinely with the energy and the power of love. For real, for real. It's not just some woo-woo, hippie, whatever, peace, kumbaya thing. It's real. So anytime there's pain or there's a disconnect, it's a place and an opportunity to discover and to have growth and to heal something even deeper that can bring more joy later on and more fulfillment and more life.
Yeah.
So don't just kick them to the curb. To find out why they're doing it and see if there's an ability to discuss it and to get through it.
Yeah, actually say something instead of just write it off as donezo.
Well, yeah. And then at the same time, I know I had someone bring, a situation to me recently where they were saying that, their husband is always, when they're going out on dates, their husband is always correcting how they drive and telling them they can't park, and that the wife is responding really pissed off and getting really, harboring anger toward her husband and getting really passive aggressive and just goes in like to a whole pissed off vibe and having dinner and their date and then they're fighting for days and why?
Yeah, that's what a bummer.
Treat issues as exciting, like you're on a treasure hunt. What's underneath all of that? What's underneath the job? What's underneath the pain? What's underneath the discomfort and the uncomfortable? And because there's always something that actually can be, through that exploration, you can find something really beautiful, and that's the good place we need to learn to go.
I think that's tricky because I think a lot of people, we've talked about the Mirage. I think a lot of people like to operate there. They love swimming around
safe.
in it. Yeah, it's safe and they don't have to. Yeah, they don't have to try. They can just, and I think maybe for some people, at least in my own experience, right off the bat, it feels like it's more uncomfortable to be honest and go direct to the problem. But then once you do it and you're on the other side of the Mirage, you're like, wow, what a relief.
Oh, totally.
You're suddenly free and you're
so
like, whoa. And and then you look back like, why was I ever like that? That was terrible. But it's so crazy that it's such it's quick. Like we talked about, it can be so quick for that to flip. But like how you can be inverted like that and think that that's better than just confronting the issue.
Well, 100%. And people are so afraid to confront, or they over-confront and they're bullies and they're mean.
Too,
and and then you get the whole term abusive or narcissistic or whatever. But even when you just said a second ago, why did I do that? It was so terrible. No, you weren't terrible. It may have looked terrible, sounded terrible, felt terrible, but you weren't terrible. You were doing the same thing they were doing. You were coming from a place of a wound that isn't healed, a brokenness, a fear, a need to control. And so you were acting out and acting opposite of who you really are. And so when we continue to have shame attached to behavior, it's so difficult to get out of it then. Because we're either imposing shame on other people, or we're carrying it ourselves, and then we get so caught up in that and we think that's our identity, and it's not. And going back to, if you just get truthful and real, that's where all the healing is and all the freedom is, and that's where all the joy is, and then that's when things can really change.
Well, sometimes you need someone who can like lead you. So like when you're saying like coach someone, in person, sometimes I think people just don't know which way that direction is, or like how to come from that space. So if you have someone who can be in that space and like show them, I think maybe seriously, that might even be like a wake up call. Like, oh, I was just directing myself the wrong way.
Yes, that's right.
I didn't realize I could go that way.
That's right.
Yeah,
they weren't taught, they haven't been given the freedom, or they're caught up in all the shit. That is being put out there by a bunch of experts and influencers that are keeping you more stuck, you guys.
And I think they know. They're very...
it's getting old.
And I think even too, there's other levels too. I don't think the influencers necessarily know what they're doing. They're just getting money. And then people pay them.
Oh my gosh, I'm starting to see that.
Yeah, and it's so then, and the people that are paying them know what they're doing, but the influencer's like, oh, you have money? Sure, I'll say whatever you want,
I don't like it.
They just think it's a fun thing.
I don't like it.
I think they just like the money, but I don't think they really consider, it's almost like I don't know, that's a weird one, because you're just kind of selling out for money, and you don't.
That's the thing.
Don't consider what do you want me to say live? What opinion do you want me to express? I don't know if I agree with that. But people will just take the money because it's a lot of money.
It's easy to be influenced by money and by power if you don't have yourself centered in what really matters. And so I don't fault people, influencers, experts, people that are saying, and remember to hit like and share. And I hope you do that if we said something that feels good for you and taught you something or you think might be neat for someone else to hear, then do it on your own accord. But I don't need you to do that. I don't need you to follow us. I really don't. I don't care if you follow us. We're doing this from our hearts, and if it helps people, amen. And if I think
I'd rather be genuine.
We have a few hundred people now that are watching, which is pretty cool. Again,
yeah, we've got definitely more than the first.
It's not 10 or 11 anymore. We're growing slowly, but we're growing like, oh, amen. We're growing in the sense that we must be saying something that's kind of neat. You're sharing with other friends and people, cool. But we're not going to sit and continue. We're not going to. You're not going to hear us. I'm sorry. I'm going to go against the grain. You're not going to hear us ever say like or share or follow us. Yeah. Do what feels good to you. With everything. That's what I'll teach you. Listen. Well, to a degree. Listen to your inner voice, and you can tell by the way your inner voice and your thoughts and what's happening around you feels in your body. And if it feels peaceful and good and whole, and it's not connected to shame or anger or frustration or resentment, follow that path. If it's something different, contact us and let's work through it.
Yeah.
But no, we're doing this because we love you guys. We love ourselves in a healthy way. We love our world, our planet. We want our kiddos to have a beautiful future. We want to create healing and peace.
And I mean, I hope that this podcast can also maybe help, because like when you're saying, listen to yourself, follow that idea. I think a lot of people don't necessarily know how to do that. That muscle hasn't been used.
You don't.
That muscle is inactive.
It is.
And they need to like, in the same way when you meditate, like you need to actively do it every day to a point where it becomes more natural in your thought process. Because if you don't, the world's thoughts and like, social media and all that stuff will just devour you.
It will.
And it'll consume you and you consume it. And it's a circle that just continues until you decide to like make a conscious effort to say no.
Yes.
Or to like, what do I want?
Yes.
Instead of just taking what the world gives you.
Oh man, that's where this job is tough, even for me, because, yes, I have been doing this for a very long time. Yes, I'm grateful. I've been really, really good. I have a gift that isn't, again, God gave it to me. I have a gift that seems to apparently help other people. Praise God. Amen. I'm honored and grateful again to be able to use it in people's lives and heal people's lives, and businesses and all sorts of things. I'm not just a matchmaker.
Yeah.
Or just, I don't mean to say just, but, I do lots of different things in people's lives, but I struggle within that spiritual space and that honor and that responsibility of the constant thin veil and fine line between doing my thing that's been given to me to help you and exploiting it, right? Or using it for just where it becomes more about me than about you. The minute that happens, then I am not on my path anymore, right?
Yeah, well, I think it's tricky too, because I think there are some people who get similar gifts, but they're not necessarily a steward of those gifts. They take advantage, or they...
And I'm seeing it everywhere.
They exploit them, and they, or they try and do magic, or like, for money. They'll do tricks for money, and you're sort of like, it's kind of dirty.
You can tell who they are.
Yeah, you're kind of using the spirit to benefit your own ego. And it's like, that's just so backwards.
Yeah.
Which is really weird to me that it surprises, and maybe it eventually catches up to him, but I feel like if you were to do that, I feel like you would like cut yourself off from that connection just by that decision to like do it that way. I feel like you would like lose that connection by just choosing ego in such a kind of prostitute-y manner.
Or you sell your soul and now you're doing it from the other side. And there's a lot of that happening.
Scary too, yeah.
But we'll go through, I know in the past I've always said, or I've shared like who some of my favorites are, who I think are the brightest bulbs, and or who are just unapologetically honest, saying, hey, this is why I'm doing it. I am doing it for my podcast and money, or I'm doing for such and such. But yet what they're giving is so darn good. Again, Jimmy on relationships. Jimmy, shout out. There's another one that I really like. So from time to time, I'll share the ones that I think haven't lost their purity. They haven't lost their essence. They're staying in truth to their gift. Yeah, I'm just like,
good kudos to them too. Like when you get big and they can still
they don't lose themselves.
Yeah, like that's I think that's what happens a lot too in this world, is especially people get really famous or have a lot of money, and I don't know how people do it, to be honest. Like the superstars in music or like in film, I just think it's almost impossible to not lose yourself, because everyone
Yeah.
Like if you have the whole world assuming something about you,
Yeah, I know.
and then they give you all this adulation and you get money and you're on TV and it's like, holy crap, how do you not lose yourself? Like you just get consumed by the world.
Again,
the whole world consumes you, you know.
It's a fine line. I know that's the realm I'm in. I'm trying to find this one. I'm on my Instagram right now, you guys. There's one that I really love. What is she called? Okay, so here's Jimmy. He's so fun. Oh, this one's cute. People pleaser rehab. Jimmy's talking about. What is it? What is it called? I know. Here, just keep talking. I think in general, the holistic psychologist, Dr. LaPera, I think she's still remaining pretty pure and authentic and true. But who is she? I want to give her a shout out. Not that she needs me to, because she has 5 million trillion more followers than I have. I don't even give a shit about followers, but yet then how am I helping people if I don't? I guess I just wait for them to come organically. Oh, darn it. She's usually like in here right away. I do like Teal Swan, I will say. In fact, I would love to chat with that chick.
Get her on here.
Teal Swan.
Where's she at? Swoop her in.
Yeah. She's a tough one, but she's pretty profound. She has something channeling through her.
Yeah.
Well, I can't find it now, but it's like Live Out Loud something. And she's just pure and good, and it's just, she's just yummy.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll find her another time. Okay, I digress. And then I pull myself back in.
And?
Is it that time?
We
I
wrap.
never finished my cocktail.
Jeez, you gotta
I'm
start
all
chugging,
hot.
man. You gotta catch up.
Well.
Brooke.
Right? Lightweight.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us on yet another super happy love hour.
Bye, you guys. Love you. Go
We'll see
be
you next
love.
time.
Yeah.
Believe in
All right.
yourself. Be
Yeah.
yourself.
Reach out to us. Give us your stuff. Bring us
Please.
your woes. Bring us your deepest, darkest shit. We don't care. We'll love on you, and we'll help
That's
you
actually the
through
best stuff. Bring us that.
Right.
We'll talk about it.